Hi there, my name is Macon Campbell and this is maconVlogs, episode 2. I'm Macon Campbell. I'll be 37 in August. I like long walks on the beach and candlelit dinners and shit, sorry, wrong video. So before we get started here, something extremely awesome has happened. The courier company who was supposed to deliver my camera just arrived at my door like 5 minutes ago. Unfortunately, I had to send it back. Reason being is I have to pay 5,500 Namibian dollars import tax, and I don't have that much cash at my house. So I'm going to have to draw the money, and then before I go pick up the kids from school, I'll swing by there and pick up the camera. So, yay! So our topic for today, smoking. So I've been smoking since I was like 14 years old. That means, 23 years. 23 years I've been smoking, and the fact that I need a calculator to calculate that is fairly embarrassing. Throughout those 23 years I've tried to stop smoking many times, so I tend to see myself as a bit of an expert on the subject. I've tried so many different methods, I've tried pills, patches, books, vapes. I even at one stage tried electric shock therapy, which is every bit as bad as it sounds. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of this, but I won't mention the company's name here because they've been around for quite a while in Namibia. What they do is they take basically what looks like a 1950s ham radio that's been converted and refurbished to deliver electrical shock to your ears. By just saying that out loud, makes me even more pissed off at myself that I fell for it. To make matters even worse, it costs almost an arm and a leg. My wife and I had to take a second mortgage on our house just to pay for this treatment. Okay, I'm kidding. But it was quite expensive. I ended up smoking again like 2 days afterwards just because I was so upset with myself that I actually fell for such a scam. Be that as it may, this treatment does boast a 70 to 80% success rate. And I think the main reason for that is that the treatment is so expensive that the average person won't be able to afford smoking for at least 6 months after the treatment. So one method that I did try that worked very well for me was a book written by Alan Carr called Stop Smoking. This book was a bit of a mindfuck because throughout the book he in fact encourages you to smoke and smoke even more than you used to smoke. All the while brainwashing you, in a good way I suppose, against smoking. So much so that once you finish reading the book you almost hate yourself for all those years of smoking and all those years that the rest of humanity had to be exposed to the disgustingness of your habit. So the second best method that I've tried is this vape. Tastes pretty good. But as cool as this vape is, I am eventually going to phase this out. I just think that it's replacing something else. It might be healthier, which is debatable. It definitely tastes better. It is a lot more pleasant than blowing combusted leaves into someone's face. Today is Wednesday. I stopped smoking on Monday last week, which makes that 9 days. So it's still early days. I've still got a long way to go, but because I've had so much practice in this game of quitting, I think I'm going to do well this time. So the main reason I really want to stop smoking is just because I want to lead a healthier life and to be a better role model for my children. So what many people might not know is that last year my wife and I had our 4th child. I know, right? She was supposed to arrive in December, but due to complications, we had to have an emergency C-section late in September, which made her 3 months premature. So what was supposed to be one of the happiest times of our lives actually turned out to be one of the hardest things that my wife and I have ever gone through. She was born at just over 1 kilogram, and within the first week she dropped to under a kilogram. So between my wife and I, we spent the next 6 weeks traveling to and from the neonatal intensive care unit. Well, just going there was terribly hard for me, being a father and And seeing your child that helpless and knowing that there's nothing that you can do for her is probably one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. Every time I went in there, I felt terribly guilty. I'm like, what kind of terrible human being am I that I'm tracking this disgusting smell into this intensive care unit where there are babies lying fighting for their lives. It was around this stage where I made a solid decision that I really dislike me smoking. I've got no problem with other people smoking, but I don't want to smoke anymore, and I was going to try and do something about it. I already had a vape. I actually stopped for like 3 months using this. When December started, it felt so good to be on holiday, and we just had this whole 2.5, 3 month period of intense pressure and sadness that we just gone through. Probably sounds like I'm using it as an excuse now, but be that as it may, I did start again in December. So sometime last week, I decided to give it another shot. So let's talk about the process of quitting. Most of the time when I stop smoking, I tend to not tell anyone. I always seem to tell myself that it's private. It's got nothing to do with anyone, whether I'm starting or whether I'm stopping. Now, I'm not one of those guys that goes and posts on Facebook, "Hey guys, I just stopped smoking," and sit there and wait for the rush of motivational comments and everyone telling me, "Yeah, you can do it, man." I mean, I've stopped smoking for like 3 days, and not one of my friends or family even noticed it. After those 3 days, you feel weak again, and I'm like, shit, damn, I want to smoke again. And I say to myself, or rather myself says to me, "Dude, it's been 3 days. No one's even noticed that you stopped smoking. Who's going to notice that you started again?" I think that's been the biggest problem. I've always told myself that the reason I'm not telling anyone that I stopped smoking is because I believe it's got nothing to do with anyone else. But more and more I'm starting to realize that it's actually fear that's making me not tell everyone. If I don't tell someone that I'm not smoking anymore, there won't be any expectation from anyone, and there'll also be no disappointment by anyone when I eventually start again. So there might be many different opinions on this subject, but this is my personal opinion. Your body's actual physical withdrawal from nicotine only lasts roughly a week. If you can make it past the first week, and all you're left with is basically the mental aspect of it. And I think that is the hardest hurdle to get over. Because at the end of the day, the only one who's going to get you through this is you. So I don't know if it's the same for everyone else, but when I walk around every day, I have this constant inner dialogue where I'm talking to myself and I'm even answering myself. Many people would say that that is a sign of insanity, but who cares? Then I suppose I'm insane. I talk to myself so much that sometimes I don't even realize when other people are talking to me. Once I start thinking about something and imagining things that I want to do, that I want to make, I can get lost in a conversation with myself very easily. My inner me has been with me all my life. Every single major decision I've made has been discussed in depth with myself. There are times when my inner self can be very wise, very intelligent, very helpful. Like the time when you're standing in front of the fridge at a quick shop, you're looking at Monster on this side and you're looking at water on this side, and your inner self says to you, "Hey man, you just went up a notch on your belt this morning. Maybe it's better if you go with the water." And I'll be like, "Yeah, that is true. Okay, let's go with the water." Or other times he'll say, "Give yourself a break, man. You lost 2 kilograms this week. Spoil yourself. Take that Monster." And I'll be like, "Yeah, I think I'll go with the Monster." And sometimes he's really selfish and only thinks about himself. And like those times when you're holding the baby, trying to get her to sleep, and it's screaming so loud that the neighbors can hear it. And he'll be like, "My God, man, can you drop that thing out a window, please? I'm trying to sleep here." And you'll be like, no, bad idea. It's exactly the same when you're trying to quit smoking or when you're trying to quit anything, but it's always that voice in your head who is keeping you back. You'll be like 3 or 4 weeks into a smoke-free life, and that little voice inside your head will say, "It's been 4 weeks, dude, and it hasn't even been that hard. What's one cigarette gonna do? It's not like you're gonna start smoking again. Your friend's sitting there right next to you. Just take one out of his packet. What harm can it do? Tomorrow we'll go back to no smoking again." Every single time I've started smoking again, it's happened exactly the same way. Starts with that one drag from your friend. Might even be 2 weeks before you try again, just so that you can convince yourself, I can smoke casually if I want to, and it won't affect me. But it will, because a week after taking that first drag, you're driving in your car and you think, I had that one cigarette and I didn't smoke for 2 weeks after that. I've got this shit, it's nothing. It just snowballs. Next thing you know, you're having one every day. Next thing you know, you're having 2 or 3 every day. And next thing you know, you're buying that packet again and you're right back where you started. I can't say that I'm not going to do it. I can't say that this is the time that I'm going to stop smoking for good. This is where I am now. This is how I feel now. I want to stop smoking. I want to start exercising. At the end of the day, it's not about how many times you fail at quitting. It's about how many times you try. And one thing I can tell you from experience is, quitting smoking is much like anything else in life. The more you try it, the better you're going to get at it. I'm not immune to this struggle, I go through this every day. I haven't got the body I've always dreamed of. I'm not as healthy as I want to be. I'm not as fit as I want to be. What I am is trying. And I think that is the most important thing. Just don't stop trying. If there's something that you really want, something that you want to achieve, you're not going to get it by quitting, except for the smoking, that you have to quit. But don't stop trying to quit, is what I'm meant to say. So I hope that wasn't too much with the me and the inner me and the whole internal dialogue. If you want to see more of that, me talking to myself and the opinions we have on some things in life, let me know. That could become a series. maconVlogs with Macon. But anyway, that's just something I wanted to share with you guys, something that I'm going through, something that I'm trying to get through. And if you have any comments or any suggestions or advice for myself or other people going through the same things, drop them in the comments. I'm sure everyone could use all the help they can get. I know I could. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you think this video might be helpful to someone else, please share it. And if you're interested in seeing more of me and all the things that I do in my workshop, my opinions that I would like to share in future vlogs, please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. So, until next time, keep making stuff.